Hey guys, this is your boy Brian Fields and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we are gonna discuss about the top 10 universal type character for free to play players. So basically this list consists of top 10 characters which I think should be on the top 10. So without wasting much of your time, let's go ahead and check them out. So at number 10 is our childhood favorite, Ghost fucking Rider. And the best part about Ghost Rider is that he deals elemental damage, I mean fire damage, which means you can boost his damage further with Obelisk. So if you add fire damage Obelisk in his inventory, that means he will do a crap load of damage. However, Ghost Rider at this point of time is only usable in Shadowland and that's also with his latest uniform, the Atelian Rising uniform, which gives him a 3-second of invincibility on his second skill with a cooldown of 4 seconds if you are at maximum cooldown. So which means he is vulnerable only for 1 second. However, you can counter that by using his last skill, his 5th skill, which will give you a bind of 2 seconds and will does a massive damage to your enemies. So you can do any relay Shadowland modes with him and he can really survive and he can cause a mass destruction in those floors of Shadowland. However, his T2 passive is also great and it gives him a boost of 120% more damage against super villain type characters. So that's a great T2, but it's very situational because it's applicable only against super villain. So that's why Ghost Rider is at number 10. Now moving on to our next character. Alright boys, so at number 9 is our girl Satana. First of all, she is once again a fire based character, which means you can boost her damage using a fire obelisk. However, in her case she also got a very good leadership which boosts her own damage, and not only that, she also boosts the damage output of other fire dealing characters by massive 60%, and she's the only character at this point of time who has fire damage leadership. So she's the only character who boosts fire damage. For characters like Dormammu, Jean Grey, Hellstorm, her own brother Inferno, Robbie Reese, and our boy Ghost Rider. And not only that, her 3rd skill, if you use it, it's a debuff. It will reduce the fire resistance of her opponents by 45%, which means she will be dealing much more damage. Apart from that, she also has got only one iframe, and that's on her 2nd skill, so which is good for her survivability. Apart from that, in terms of survivability, her 4th star passive gives her 10% heal, and the best part about this is that it's when she's attacking, because like in case of isolate you need to get heat in order to get the heal, but in her case, while she's attacking, she gets this 10% of recovery from her 4-star passive. And moreover, coming down to her tier 2, it's absolutely very important for her because it gives her a massive 10 seconds of immunity. So as soon as you are tier 2, it will give you a 10-second of immunity to her with a 30-second cooldown, as you can see, and the activation rate is again while attacking. And apart from that, it also improves her debuffs. So she's a great character. She's really usable in Shadowland and against world bosses, so that's why she's at number 9. So our next character on the list, and who is currently number 8 as per my list, is Thor Odinson. Well, he's a god in comics, but however in this particular game he's not godly, right? However, he becomes decent with his unworthy Thor uniform, which changes almost all of his skills. And as you can see, even Thor does elemental damage, lightning damage, so you can equip a lightning damage obelisk on Thor and you can really boost his damage output. There are two ways of building up Thor. You can either go full offensive, or you can be partially defensive as well in his case, since his defense isn't that great. And as far as his skills are concerned, he has got 0 iframe, so his only defensive skill is his most damaging skill, which is his last skill, Thundering Maelstrom, which gives him 8 guard hits, however which is only for 4 seconds, which I believe to make him great it should have been 8 seconds like his brother Loki. However, in this case it's only for 4 seconds. And I'd say he's got couple of movement skills in like Thunder Roar, where he spins around and push his enemies toward a corner. So if used effectively and under the right circumstances, he could be really good. His tier 2 passive is also great, which boosts his damage output by a lot, by giving him a massive increase to lightning damage by 60%. And now as the new meta goes, he has got 70% chance to pierce barrier and invincibility. So once again, if you are fighting any character against any character who has got an invincibility obelisk, there is a very high chance that Thor will be still doing damage to those characters due to his tier 2 passive. However, he only becomes great with his unworthy Thor uniform, but I'd still not suggest to buy this uniform at this point of time, because in a couple of weeks we might get the Thor Ragnarok update. So I'd suggest to wait till then, because we might get a even better uniform for Thor, and he might become the god which he wants him to be. Alright boys, so the next character and the number 7 of the list is the Queen of Inhumans, Medusa herself. Well, she's a redhead and she's damn good, because her leadership gives 36% increased damage to all universal type characters. And apart from her great leadership, she also has a very good skill sets, and her third skill gives her 5 seconds of invincibility with a cooldown of 9 seconds if you have maximum cooldown, which means 36% of skill cooldown from your cards and 14% if you are in a level 30 alliance. And apart from her invincibility, she also get a 3 seconds of stun on her fourth skill, so which is really very good for CCing your enemy. And apart from that, her first and her last skill are iframes. So she has the combination of iframes, stuns, and invincibility. So basically she has got it all. However, her tier 2 isn't really mandatory, it's not really necessary. It doesn't boost her damage output by much, but it still boosts her damage output to a certain extent. As you can see, just 15% of guaranteed dodge and critical rate, and just a slight increase to her skill damage. So that's why Medusa is at number 7. So moving on to the next character on the list at number 6 is our boy Destroyer. Well, I had a lot of argument with myself regarding this particular selection, because Destroyer is completely a PvP character, a player versus player character. He is not at all useful in PvP contents. And Destroyer is the only character in game at this point of time who has got 3 passive skills. As you can see, his tier 2 passive, his 4-star passive, and even his 5th or his 6-star skill is also a passive skill. And he's an absolute monster in PvP, because as you can see from his 5th or his last skill, he can reflect up to 100% of energy damage. So he's the kryptonite of Doctor Strange, Jean Grey, and all the meta energy damage dealing characters in any kind of PvP format. So it's a great character, however only for PvP, and as you can see, he boosts his own damage against energy damage dealing characters. So he's great character, but however his greatness is limited only to PvP. He has got so far one uniform, as you can see, which gives him a massive damage boost of 170% on 2 of his attacks, which is really good, because Destroyer's damage output is not really very good without this particular uniform. At number 5 is our very own cosmic girl, Singularity. She was introduced to Marvel Future Fight with the Secret Wars update, and she's a great character, even though initially her damage output was very low, however which was fixed with her tier 2 passive. She is a great character for both Shadowland and also Battle World, because she has, out of all the 5 skills which she has got 4 iframes, which are her skill 1, skill 2, 4, and 6. And apart from that, her 3rd skill is like a vortex which sucks in her enemies and they are unable to move because they are guard broken. And her tier 2 passive, as I've stated earlier, gives her a massive boost to her damage by 40% skill damage. However, apart from that, she also get a guaranteed dodge rate of 40%. So it boosts her survivability also by a lot, and she can also pierce barrier effects. So that means she's good against people like Loki and similar type of characters like even Songbird. So that's our pick for number 5. Even though it's really difficult to level her to 6-star, let alone tier 2ing her in normal way, because you can't actually get her from regular biometric selectors. You need to get her bios only from the daily chest, which has a small chance of giving you the universal bios, and that's also you can get a maximum number of 8 bios in a day. The provided you get a universal type bioselector. Otherwise you need to buy the bioselector from the store. So it's a bit debatable, but you can still get her, but it might take a lot of time to level up Singularity. And at number 4 is the forgotten king and queen of Marvel Future Fight. It's our boy and our girl, Loki. Yes, as Loki is still the one of the most easiest character that you can play with. So even a beginner can play with him flawlessly. All you need to do is use his third skill, which gives you a guard hit of 8 guard hits for 8 seconds, so which is really very good. And her last skill, her fifth skill, she summons 4 clones who does damage to her enemies. So you can just simply use the guard hits and then summon the clones and basically just run around while your clones does all the work. And if you have her Lady Loki uniform, while using her skill Spectre Bolt, she can freeze the enemies for 2 seconds. So with the introduction of all the metas, the value of Loki's have come down by quite a lot. She's not used as much as she was used previously. Like initially for every game mode there was one answer and it was Loki. World boss clear, Loki. Alliance battle, Loki. Each and every game mode was dominated by this particular character. However, let's see with the upcoming Thor Ragnarok update, we might see Loki getting his top spot, or at least an honorable spots among the top tier villains. And at number 3, so we are at the top 3 now, and Hellstorm is rank 3 on my list because he's a great character and he was introduced with the Doctor Strange update. His 5th skill gives him immunity for 5 seconds with a cooldown of 7.5 seconds if you have maximum cooldown. So that's great. And not only that, he also can draw summons, so he can summon clones. And the best part about his clones is that they take aggro on behalf of him. So not only they do damage, they also draws aggro, so which boost Hellstorm's survivability by a lot. And apart from this, his third skill gives him a huge damage boost of 24% energy attack while using it. He has got one small mini iframe on his first skill, and if you look at his tier 2 passive, it's really good because it's boosts both his defensive and offensive capabilities, because it gives him 10% HP recovery while he is attacking, and apart from that a massive boost to his damage of 60% fire damage. So best part about Hellstorm is that all his damage are, or rather all his skills are fire based skills, which means you can use a fire damage obelisk to boost his damage output. And if you don't have Odin, then he could be a top contender for your extreme alliance battle. He's really good for Shadowland floors. His can be used in extreme alliance battle and even in PvP if you play him manually. So basically, in short, he's a great character, and you can farm him through the epic missions. So the number 2 position belongs to the king of Inhumans, and as it is said, that a great king should be a great leader. Similarly, Black Bolt has a great leadership skill of massive 30% boost to energy damage of all the allies in the team. Apart from that, his 4-star passive gives him the ability to remove debuffs for 5 seconds. However, it's on a massive cooldown of 30 seconds. So probably you will be benefiting from this particular skill only probably for once in a battle, and then it's gone. He has got only one iframe, and it's a mini iframe on his first skill, and he has got a very good 2-second stun on his third skill. But the best skill is his last skill, the Sonic beam. As you can see, it has got a massive, it does massive AoE damage and covers a lot of area, almost the entire screen. And the best part about this particular skill is that it is also related to his tier 2 passive. As you can see, his tier 2 passive, when he uses his 5th skill, Quasisonic Scream, he gets a massive boost to ignore dodge of 50%. So means if he's fighting against a high dodge character, he can ignore their dodge rate by 50%, which is really great. And not only that, he gets a 5 seconds of invincibility, and also damage boost on his skills, as it boosts his skill damage by 35% and bonus damage by 30%. So his last skill, his Quasisonic Scream, has a skill cooldown of 6 seconds if you have maximum cooldown, which means after every 6 seconds you will be invincible for 5 whole seconds, and you will also get a massive damage output due to his ignore dodge effect, and also increase to skill damage. Black Bolt is really good in Shadowland, so wherever you can use him, or whichever floor he's eligible for, he can complete all the floors. And apart from that, Black Bolt can be used even in Extreme Alliance battle, Universal Hero Extreme Alliance battle, if you don't have Odin. And I have seen people scoring as high as 150k with Black Bolt. And as far as uniform is concerned, out of phase 2 uniforms, I'd suggest you guys to go for the Atelian Rising uniform, because it gives him increased damage by 120% for one attack. But the best part about this uniform, or rather the unique part about this uniform, is that the increased damage bonus is applicable only for the skill which he used. So that means while doing a normal attack, it won't consume the bonus effect. So he will always, the damage will proc always only on skills, so which is very good. And since you have a damage proc on his uniform itself, you can go with a defensive obelisk on Black Bolt, unless you're building him for Extreme Alliance battle. So he's a great character with all the kits under his belt, and he is a great leader and the king. And now at number 1 is our boy Robbie Reyes from the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, Robbie Reyes is a phenomenal character, as he has got 3, not just 1, 2, 3 massive iframes. So those are big ass iframes, and basically using these 3 iframes, which are on his 3rd skill, his 4th skill, and his 5th skill. As you can see, it's a really long iframe. So which means you can basically be always in iframe using his 3rd, 4th and 5th skill. And moreover, his 4th skill also gives him a barrier for, or rather a guard hit for 5 guard hits, and so that's really good. And he's also deals an elemental type damage, so basically he deals fire damage from all his skills, as you can see, which means you can boost his damage output with a fire damage obelisk. He is a great character for any game mode, say it world boss, Shadowland. He can do basically any floor on his own. He can solo any floor, and he is also one of the most used character for extreme alliance battle after Odin. So if you don't have Odin, the best or the second best character which you can use for extreme alliance battle is our boy Robbie Reyes. He's a great character and he deserves to be at number 1. So guys, this is my top 10 list for universal type, non-native and non-paywall characters, and your list could be different than mine. So if you think that or if you rather disagree with my list, then do let me know in the comments below, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Happy gaming, boys. Take care.